Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Let's see. All right, we got a stream, we got good health, we got things like that. Morning chat. Should start calling you guys Chad. You guys ever watch Stock Market Live? His stream. Josh answers. Pretty good stuff. I used to watch him every day, 8 hours a day. Anyway, good morning. My name is Darkpool Algo, and thanks for watching me this morning. We're going to be doing a watch list building session for today and possibly this week. We're going to find stocks that have a high probability of making a move, potentially today, but definitely for this week. We'll be using the Smart Money, Darkpool, and Block Trade algorithm software provided by the folks over at Flow Trade. I keep pushing the free trial. I keep trying to help you all out. If you haven't got one yet, link in the description. Give it a try. It can enhance your existing trading strategy, or it can even learn a new one. As always, if you find this content useful, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. It really does help me out with the YouTube algorithm. And you'll be notified when we find plays that are going to rip that day, or even potentially that week. So, I've been working on some tagline stuff, and I really like Wakey Wakey. I want to show you my shirt. Let's see what we got here. Wait, this way. Wakey Wakey Eggs and Bakey. Get you some. Anyway, I thought that would be funny. But we do need to get back to work this week. So this morning, we saw there's a continued difference in the three indexes, right? With NQ lagging and YM trying to lead. This is causing ES to be at a standstill. So as long as this rotation is happening, the market's going to be continued to stall a little bit, right? If they work together, ES has a daily squeeze that's trying to fire, which could be extremely beneficial, right? So we need to just maintain patience this week. I'll be watching ES for some hourly squeezes. I've got a couple things that I want to watch out for. We put out our watch list last night. I didn't do a video. I spent some time with my wife, showing her some appreciation for all that she does. Hopefully everybody did that with their mothers, wives, sisters, grandmothers, right? Show some appreciation. All right, let's just jump right into it. The list we're looking at this morning is going to be Adobe, Pins, Net, Beyond, and Trip. Take advantage of news on which news you're talking about, Thundercat. All right, I'm gonna jump right in with Adobe. Last week was pretty decent week. My 600 to 6 grand small account challenge. Let me just see if I can fire that up and show y'all without giving away the account number. If I can, I'll do it. The account actually went down to about $150. I took that to $1,500, so that's doing pretty good. Let's see here. What do we got going on here? All right, anyway, Adobe. All right, Adobe. Let me get rid of this stuff here. All right, so TOS wants to be a laggy POS today, right? Which should be interesting. Quick drawing set, yes. I've gone through all the tips and tricks trying to make TOS a little faster, but jobs report, oh yeah. Microsoft, Facebook really let me down, but Microsoft and what did I have? Lululemon, yeah, those guys ripped. Let me see, I'll make sure I'm back in my stream, so I can go this way. Those guys totally ripped, and it was pretty nice. So, all right, we're going to look at Adobe. A couple things I want to do right off the bat. Let's try to find some trend line support. I may have to make some new ones, right? Broke that, came down. So we broke the 200 and the 50 period SMA. We rebounded off of that. We reverted to the 21 EMA. I'm looking for a little bit of maybe a reversion to test the 34 for support. Let me just throw up the old fib. Let's see. All right, flow trade. I'm going to go single chart layout. Over the weekend, I had posted a lot of stuff. There's a lot of questions about the dark pool versus the normal algorithm. I use the normal algo. The dark pool algo is super complicated, and it's not really feasible for me to go over it on stream, just because of the complexity of it. So I use a normal algo on the 15 and the 1 minute chart. Okay. And I don't know why I've got IWM up. I watch IWM every day with, all right. So Adobe on the 15 is showing us that we've got nice strong bullish divergence happening coming from the 3rd. We've also got the algo that's starting to curl a little bit, which we always like. One thing that I did also go over was an illustration of that Wu-Tang pattern reversal. Wu-Tang reversal pattern. Yeah, I gotta fix. I'm a little off center today. Sorry, everyone. All right. And that can be illustrated here. So we go down, we come up, right? We come back down, and then the next move, right, off of that retesting of support is a massive move. Adobe did that. We gapped up from this level here. We ended up popping triple top previous price action, coming back down. Looks like we're rebuilding that W-shaped pattern, that Wu-Tang bottoming. We've got nice upward trend line support that's beginning to form here, as you guys can see. The algo, as I mentioned, is starting to curl a little bit. This looks as if the price action is trading with the algo. So what I'd like to see is that algo curl up and take off. We do have previous area of resistance that seems to be pretty significant right in this area here. Got that gap it's trying to fill. This is a pretty good. I mean, this scale is kind of deceiving. So this is 488, and this is 500. Obviously, that 500 is going to be a nice psychological level for Adobe. Looking at Adobe on the old 1 minute scale. Wow, I am laggy. What the? I've got this new mouse. It's a vertical mouse. I'm still trying to get used to it. All right. The algo is trading with price action. Looks as if there's some profit taking on Friday, which would fit well with that W double bottom breakout. As far as the chart is concerned, we've got an $11 ATR. We're only in a weekly squeeze. VWAP's neutral, stochastics are positive. Nice beta, right? We don't have any earnings coming up. It looks as if though overnight we moved up a little bit to 490, came back down, and we're right at the 200 SMA on the 5 minute chart. That's providing support right at 488.35. Bumping up over to the 4 hour chart, which is where I really like to see a lot of things. It gives me a lot of information. This yellow histogram candle, or this yellow histogram bar, after a red run up, the yellow is an indication of a potential reversal. We like to see this histogram start decreasing for a squeeze to fire off, which would thrust us back into the light blue histogram area and an explosive move upwards. Okay. We've got a radiant fire signal that's firing off. The market extension is getting ready to turn into a buy signal for me. Whenever it comes back out of oversold, back into neutral, that's a buy signal. We've got nice 200 EMA or SMA trendline support at 481.25. So Adobe 481.25 is the 200 SMA. Okay. The 50 is above us. So that's going to create a 5200 SMA squeeze. When that happens, things pop out, right? Let's see if I can find another one. Let's see if I can find a preview. It's pretty much hugged it the whole way. There was a squeeze here. All right. Like I mentioned before, we came down, we tested support, we popped back up, we reverted to the mean. So the 21 EMA, we came back down. We closed below the 8 EMA on the 4 hour. our moving averages are stacked a little negatively. However, with the algo buying like it was, I'd like to see this little doji turn into a potential reversal back to the upside. If that's the case, we're looking at some target levels based on Fibonacci. Initial 498, which would be the 21 EMA and the 50% retracement, followed by 503, which is the 618. Now, however, 500 is going to come into play because it is that psychological level. So even though Fibonacci is saying 503, I'm going to look at the 500 because it looks as if though it ran into that level before and had to make a decision there. So that 500 level is going to be an area of contention, also an area of resistance. Right above that, we've got 503 and then the 200 or the 50 SMA. So short term, 500 target, taking profit at 498. If we can get above that 500 level and close, actually 501.25 is the level for this guy. So let me just edit that. 501, and that's a previous area of support. So that 501.25, if we can break and close above that, we may consolidate for a day or so, but we'd like to see it pop up above the 50 on the way back up to 520. Looking at the options chain, for Adobe for this week, the 500s to the 520s, so it does move $11 a day. I don't think it's going to move to 520 this week. We've got a $13 anticipated move, so that puts us right at 500 basically. So 500 is the point for this week. If you want to go a little further out, maybe to the 21st weekly or the monthly expirations, the 505s have got a lot of interest. The 510s have got a lot of open interest, and the 520s. So it looks like there's a bunch of people throwing butterflies up at the 510 or 505, 510, 520 fly. That doesn't work. Hold on. Yeah, that's a weird looking fly. Let me see what we got here. Anyway, regardless, I like the 510s for the 21st. Let me just throw that to this. I also like this week's 500s. You could go 505 a little bit if it's more well within your risk tolerance. It's got some pretty decent open interest. Actually, I think I'm going to go with the 505s. Throw those on watch. Alright, that is Adobe. Let's see, you got the 505 weeklies, 510 monthlies. Alright, pins is the next one I want to go through. Get that loaded up over here since it appears Toss wants to be slow today. Alright, I hope everybody had a good weekend. I know I did. It was nice and relaxing. I had a request to throw on the regular block trade levels because it does, lots of people do like to see it. However, if I'm going to do that, I don't want to muddy up my chart. I'm only going to go back a week on those, maybe 8 days, 10 days, right? 10 days seems like a nice level. So looking at pins, we've got a couple things we want to discuss here. One is that we've got a nice, strong, bullish divergence. The algo is pretty much vertical. So you can see here, we've got, so that's considered net buying. We've got this divergence coming back. It started on the 5th, Cinco de Mayo. That divergence has many divergence levels that have played out. So we're currently working on this one here, right? So obviously this divergence played out here, right? This divergence played out here. So we're currently working on this divergence level here. We've got a dark pool block trade coming in at 60.46. That's going to provide some resistance. Right below that, we've got a regular block trade coming in at 60.14. All right. So 61 being a whole number, that's going to be my initial target just because of the whole number, and it does have a block trade at that level, a regular block trade. We've got some nice we've got some nice uptrend support. We've made a lower high, or a higher low, excuse me, and I'll consider that a higher high. Kind of a smoothed out Wu-Tang pattern reversal that we're looking at. We've got block trades pretty much at whole numbers as well. So 61, 63, right? That's where that divergence began. So we'd like to see it at least get to that. Above 70, right? Another key level, whole number. Above 70, we've got a gap to fill all the way back up to 78, 72, okay? On the 1 minute chart, looking at pins. Hold on, block trades at 60. We're using the block trade level at 59 for support, sorry. So 59 support, we've got a $60.50 resistance level on our way to 61.63. I need to write that down. Those pins. We got 59 support, 61, was it 61 or 60? $60.46, 60.50 resistance. That's a dark bull one. Then we've got blocks at 61, 60, 63. 61, 63. All right. Looking at pins on the 1 minute chart, price action is currently trading with the algorithm. I like that the algo is above price action. We've got some nice vertical movement happening with the algorithm. It's got that curling up that we like to see. It indicates it's going to be leading indicator today, right? We've got this curling up here. Blocks to be concerned about is that $60.46 level here. There is also a newer block at 60.14 that's going to provide some resistance. 59.01 is what I'm calling support. So 59 support. We've got that nice curling up. We get above the 60 to 60.50 level. Obviously, there's a 50-cent move to 61. Pins moves kind of weird in that you can't really, I mean, it says it's a $3.75 ATR. However, it usually only moves about $1. So with that being said, we've got, all right, so I'm still learning this Turbo VZO, but from what I understand, it's a volume reversal, or yeah, I don't want to go into it. I don't know that much about it yet. Nice beta, 3-day, 4-day, weekly, mid, low compression squeeze. VWAP's pretty much neutral. We're just starting uptrend support here. We had a doji, so obviously this is decision making time. With the fact that we've got a negative but increasing MACD, we're currently negatively stacked and we're below the 200 SMA. I do want to see this really base for support. You know, that 59 level provides a nice support with it being a whole number. However, I really need it to just confirm that. All right, moving over to the overnight chart. Looks as if though we moved up overnight to over the 5-minute SMA, positive and increasing MACD, positive RSI. Super trend, 3 and 5 minute positive on that, 10 and 15 are a little negative. We've got 61.33 is previous high, so that 61.40 block trade will come into play. We're in, squeeze really isn't going to help us out. This inverted hammer is not the greatest, but it looks as if though it recovered from that. Here's that negative histogram with that yellow reversal candle potential. The market extension's oversold. We'd like to see it curve up and begin buying. On the 4-hour Fibonacci levels to look at, 69.80 seems to be, what is it, 69, Yeah, 69.80, which is kind of a weird number for... I have snapping on. Kind of a weird number for a reversal and a resistance. You would think that they would try to go with more whole numbers. If we're going to play this during the intraday, immediate resistance at 63.50, 65, a break of 65, which would be the reversion to the 21. We would immediately run into the previous high at 69, what is it, 69.80, right? So $70 target, that'll be the 34. We've got this little gap area here from the 34 to the 250 SMA. So from 70 to 73, I'll look at consolidation and chop, just because it's going to struggle in there, and those moving averages really need to start forming a squeeze to push it one way or the other. Above that, we'll just run into some standardized resistance, but at that point we'd probably have momentum helping us push higher. So for pins, all right, we got blocks at 61 and 63. All right, the 8 EMA is right at that 61. Let me just see if we moved overnight. All right, so it looks like overnight we popped, we sold off. We're coming back down to test that 59 level for support. Right, we've tested it a whole bunch of times and it's held. So 59 is solid for support. Drop that there. So 59 support, intraday. Give me some short-term targets here. 60, 60, 41. Yeah. So that 60-41 that I talked about with that block trade earlier, that's the 618 retracement from previous high to previous low. The 200 SMA is going to, on the 4 hours or the 15 minutes, going to come down and test that area as well. I'm going to target that 60 if they have a 60-50. They don't. Ooh, they have 61.50, right? So the $60 this week expiration pins looks good to me. Jumping back out to the monthlies. 63.50. Is that gonna what it's gonna be? Yeah, we've got a 50% retracement at 63.47 and then 65. What's the ATR? 375. So if we wanted to jump out to next week's, the 63.50 is probably what they're going to. 65 is what they're going to try to pin it at for a monthly expiration. That's well within the market maker move. Those are dirt cheap right now. However, I'd like to get a little. They're only at 18 delta. I like to get a little closer based on my risk tolerance. I can go ahead and grab those 60, those 61, those 61s. I'd have to position size on those though. So 61s for next week also look good. I'm going to keep an eye on both of those at the bell. All right, next one we're looking at is net. Net on the 1 minute. I'll just start on the 1 minute. All right, don't want 30 days worth of block trades coming in. 11 seems pretty good. All right, the algo, as you can see, this algo is almost vertical. We like to see that. That indicates strong buying. We've got strong net buying. The algo is almost vertical, as you can see here, right? We've got a block trade coming in right at 75. That's going to be a resistance area. We have a cluster of dark pool trades that we're going to need to get over. That cluster begins at 72.50. Oh, come on, pick the right tool. That cluster begins right at 72.58 to 72.86. So there's a 30-cent cluster range that has provided resistance, caused some caused some bullish divergence at the end of the day on Friday. We need to get over that. That's 72.86. So from 72.86 to 73.50, that's a nice 50-cent move. Above that, we've got $2.50 range. So 73.50, 73.50, and 72.86. All right. Looking at the algo on the 15-minute chart, kind of the same thing. We've got nice, strong, bullish divergence that's been happening for, let's see, since the 22nd. Well, no, divergence occurred. Sorry, we've been net buying since the 22nd. Divergence occurred back on the 4th. As you can see here, a lot of that divergence has already played out. All right, this divergence has played out here. This divergence has played out here. Let's see. Well, we're going to look to target this divergence here, right at the guesstimated 77 level, right? As far as blocks are concerned, I'm going to redraw those for you. We've got regular blocks, 75 and 73.57, right? We round those, so 73.50, 75 are regular blocks. We've got that cluster of dark pool blocks that we're going to have to pay attention to. Grab the right tool, dude. All right, there we go. This area here, we do have uptrend support. Looks as if though it's forming. So this, I mean, if we were to duplicate this pattern, we'd come in, we'd gap up, right, up and over that block to previous resistance. So looking at net Cloudflare, I love Cloudflare. I don't know if these fibs are still good. All right, looks like we had earnings. They beat on earnings. We've got negative MACD. However, the VZO is turned and is in a buying process. The price action broke above the 50 SMA. Came up, reverted to the mean, broke through the 34 and the 21. Looks as though we rejected off of the 50% retracement from this daily longer term fib from the 52-week high to that low back in March. So 78.36 is what smacked us down. We've got a nice daily, well, 2-day, 3-day, 4-day weekly squeeze. ATR, $5 ATR, nice beta, VWAP's essentially neutral. Overnight, pretty much flat. We got a buy signal coming in with positive MACD. All right, let's see if I can get this here to show you. Positive MACD, positive RSI. We do have to get over the 6, that's right, it's 71.75. Came back down, found support. What provided us support? 71 is going to be support for net. We're going to keep that. So 71 support for net. $75. All right, so 71 support for net. All right, we retested it. We got a falling or decreasing 200 SMA and decreasing 50 SMA. Those are pretty much running in parallel. We've got this daily, we've got this 15-minute, 20-minute, and 30-minute squeeze that's just been consolidating. If we can let that squeeze fire and it fires to the long side, it'll thrust us through the moving averages and restack those positive. We've got this nice long John Wiki candle up here at 78. So 75. So I'm looking at the net this week's And $5 ATR, is that what it was? So 83s have a ton of open interest. I'm going to grab, let's see, I actually like next week's 70, so the monthly expiration 75s. And the reason that is because that 75 level is a 50% retracement, which is what we ran into before and got smacked down. Or we ran into it before. We actually ran into the 78 on the daily. The 75 is going to provide some resistance, and that's from this high to this low. Alright, I'm good with that. So 71 support, 75 target for next week. And that's the 521s. Look for this big giant. Like, we've got this range that we're going to have a problem with. Right? I don't know if y'all can, let me just draw this. So we've got this range here. Right? From 69 to 74. Right? We would need to close above 75 for any longer, larger term moves. But this range is definitely something you can play within. It's a good $4 range, $5 range. And those options are super liquid, right? Well, they're pretty much liquid, but you can play that $70 to $75 range all day. All right. Next one, Beyond. And then I gotta move it a little quicker. All right. This one I'm excited about. Can you see that algo? It's vertical. There's a lot of inappropriate names that the algo is being right now. It's just smacking price action. So this is beyond meat, right? Look at that, almost 90-degree vertical price action or algorithm. We need price action to follow it. We've got nice support block trade level at 107.69. I need to write this down. 107.69 block support. We have a dark pool block coming in at 122.50. That's going to be resistance for us. That's this level here. These are big numbers we're talking about. I like this one. If it can get moving, oh man, it's amazing to watch. All right, so I'm not super thrilled about this uptrend support. I would need it to potentially confirm that support somehow today. The algo, like I said, is vertical. The 1 minute chart shows us that we had divergence at noon, bullish divergence at noon on Friday. We've got the algorithm that's still curled up and positive. Look, the algo decided to make a W pattern. Wu-Tang. All right. So bullish divergence. No real block trades that are going to come down and get in the way. Let's look at Beyond on the chart. All right, Beyond, we're in a 2-day, 3-day, 4-day weekly squeeze. We have an ATR of about $5 to $6 a day. We came down, we did this nice inverted hammer. Earnings affected us, so it looks like. So they had negative earnings. We've got negative and decreasing MACD. We're oversold on volume, right? We'd like that to turn and indicate a reversal. We've got VWAP's essentially neutral. We're about 3% below the 52-week high, right? We've got, looks like we found some basing and support overnight. The 5-minute MACD is or the 5-minute or the 3-minute MACD is positive and increasing. We've got a buy signal on the bullish market forecast indicator. We'll go into that one another time. I'm going to do an educational series on that. All right, 4-hour. We sold off probably because of earnings. We did come down. We found support. We've got a channel that we've got this giant bar, 106, so 107 to 117. It's going to be a channel that we may just consolidate within for a little bit because we are pretty much oversold. We've got negative MACD. I'm not really exactly sure what's going to happen within this channel. So keeping an eye on it. Like I said, I wanted it to base a little bit more to really establish some support. If any of these squeezes can fire off from the 15, 20, 30, or the 30, 60 minute squeeze, if those can fire off, that would definitely help with a turn of momentum that we would need for Beyond to really get some strength behind it. Currently, we're just going to consolidate. Like I said, 115, 107. Right, 115, 107. So we've got 107 support. We've got a range between 107 and 115 that we're probably going to trade within for the next several days. With that being said, I'm going to go out to next week's 115s. Ooh, this option chain is jacked. Let's see. So they added a whole bunch of options. Beyond used to trade in $5 increments, right? 100, 110, 115. They added a bunch of new dollar increment options, which is throwing the chain off. With that being said, next week's 120s or 115s or vertical 115, 120 is definitely doable. I'm going to throw the 115s or the 120s up on watch. However, I'm not going to take a position in this until we can confirm. I would need, what do I need? $115. All right. I would really need a break and close above 115 to yeah, this one's tough. Alright, so I'm just going to do it this way. If we can maintain support right here at this 107.50 level, right? 107.50. As soon as we get some curling up of the MACD, as soon as we get a crossover or a reversal candle on the daily for the MACD, like I just needed to make sure it maintains the support, because going back in history, like we're at a pretty significant low, right? All the way back into last year. Even though we did have a nice inverted, hammer candle, it needs to prove to me that it's going to maintain 107. If it can maintain 107, then I'll jump in those next week 120s. All right. Yeah, I just need it to prove itself. The algo is saying yes, everything's saying yes. I just need it to confirm to me that it's not going to fake out, break out. You know what I mean? All right. And then the last one I wanted to look at would be Trip. And then I got to run. Thanks for joining me this morning. Let me just get this another one. Love this pattern. Love this. Just look at it. You see it's vertical. Strong net buying. All right, so this is Trip. This one formed the Wu-Tang pattern and gapped up, right? So we'd like it to come down and form that Wu-Tang pattern and gap up again. However, we've got this this divergence here that's caused this nice almost vertical net buying. We've got a block trade at dark pool block trade at 52.48 and then another one at 45.20. So that's a huge range. It's a $7 range that we can trade within. Obviously, we've got net buying. We've got nice trend line support coming in, right? We would like to maintain that support right at 44-ish. Looking at trip on the 1 minute chart, again, same situation. Nice strong bullish divergence that occurred on Friday. Here, block trade at 45.20, that's going to provide resistance, and then it's going to provide support. I'd like to see a close above that 45.20 before I get into it, right? So that's going to be my support level. So 45.20. 45, just going to call it 45.25 support. So a break and hold of that. All right, TripAdvisor. Going on a trip this summer. Go head up to Utah for a couple days. Have some fun up there. All right. 50 period SMA, $52. It's going to provide resistance. We're currently oversold with the VZO, which means we could turn around and become buying again. 2-day, 3-day squeeze, monthly histograms, light blue, great beta, great Bollinger Bands. $3 ATR. We would need to come up and test the 2134 right at 48.49, right? Looks as though a little selling overnight. It's basically flat. The 4-hour chart's letting us know that, yeah, this $52 level is going to be a target with resistance at 47.48. Got some, we're currently at 44.20. Yeah, that break of 40, I say 45.25. I'm actually going to call it a break and close above 44.75. And I'll be bullish on trip. I'd like to enter a position. Right. All right, so we've done that little slingshot histogram squeeze pro. Looks like the red's fired off. We'd like that to, all right, so we stopped right at 50. All right, so here's what's up. Radiant fires mid-thrust buy on the 15-minute chart. We had the 15-minute squeeze fire off to the upside, which thrust us up to 50 or 45, right? 45 is going to be pretty significant resistance, a nice whole number, psychological level. Looks like it's tested it in the past a couple times, and it doesn't like to make a decision around that level. We're currently above the 50 SMA. Our EMAs are stacked positive. The 200 15-minute SMA at 45.73 is going to be resistance. As far as targets go, I'm going to look to target the so there's that 47.25. So looking at the options chain, next week's 50s, well within reach. I'm actually going to grab next week's 45s. Also going to look at this week's 45s. There's a ton of open interest at 56 for some reason. $2 ATR expected move for this week. Right, we're currently at 44. Next week's 45s gives me at least $1 in movement. I like this. But however, we need to break 44.75 and hold that to target 521.45s. that what I said? Okay, 520 and 45. All right, that is it for me. Thank you for joining me again. I really appreciate the likes, the subscribes, the notifications that I'm sending out. Hopefully y'all are doing well. I'm going to get into the small account challenge this week, show you what we're doing with that. It's a cash account. I reinvest everything back into it. We're trying to get to $6,000, and then we're going to make a decision if we're going to take profit and fund a $5,000 account to do 5 to 25. The goal for that is to try to be to 25 before 4th of July. I know that's putting pressure on it. I don't like doing time frames, but I need to have a time frame. It's a double-edged sword. Anyway, thanks for joining me. My name is Darkpool Algo. Once again, I'm here every morning, Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. Eastern. I live on the West Coast, so I'm here for y'all. Have a great day today. Hit me up on Twitter with any requests. Sign up for the free trial at FlowTrade. I'm telling you guys, it's gonna change.